Alright. Um, I'm going to talk to you. Maybe this will be the final video of the Nations for Rookies series. I'm going to talk to you about Italy today. And the first thing I want to say is that the national rules, they suck. They really do. They are not good. Right now, we're waiting for the new book that will come out in November, I think. Um, it's called The Soft Underbelly, and it's about the campaign in Italy. So maybe stuff will come on there that works. Let's see what happens. But until that does, we're stuck with what we got. And the only place where the Italian rules really shine is if you get to be a defender in an attacker-defender scenario. Then they're really good because you get free fortifications. But otherwise, and most tournaments don't really play with attacker-defender scenarios because they're not really balanced. So I'm not sure you'll get to use them much. The Italian troops are very nice looking. You can get some really good paint jobs. So if you're going for like theme or maybe painting competitions in your local meta, that is the army to go for, because you can really make something that looks good. They have almost these bluish uniforms for some of their troops, really nice, and the hats can be like interesting with feathers and stuff. Yeah. So thematically and paint job, I would highly recommend Italy. Competitive for the rules, no, not so much. If we look at what's good in the Italian roster, I would start out by pointing to you to two infantry choices. And one that's maybe very interesting but not good enough right now. Let's start with that one. There are two units in the Italian roster where you can double up LMGs in a unit. So you can actually have a 5-man unit, the NCO, and 2 LMG teams. If LMGs were so damn expensive, that would be really good. As a backline unit, holding your backline and just pumping out shots, that would be really, really good. Right now, I'm kind of on the fence about it because it's too many points, especially for small units. I mean, a 5-man unit and 40 points worth of LMGs, just not survivable enough, right? But also really interesting what you can do with that. But good units in the infantry selection, I would look at their veteran units, their Alpini, and their regular units. They're pretty much standard, but they work. I mean, and the Paris veteran infantry was stubborn is just as good as any other nation's stubborn paratroopers. They really work. They do. But if you really want to go berserk, I would go for the late war Paras of Italy. And you know why? Because they can have SMGs, being tough fighter. They can be stubborn at the same time. 0 points for stubborn. They just get it. And they can buy Fanatic on top of that. That is awesome. That's a Death Star unit right there. That's really, really good. Damn, that's a tough unit in close combat. You're going to have to shoot that away, because Fanatic tough fighter veterans, that's the combination of special rules that win games. At the same time, they can be equipped with Panzerfausts if you really want to spend points. So they can really kill basically anything that you want to point them at. So late war paratroopers, they're good. Also, I want to point your attention to something I've talked about before. Italy has access to cavalry, and their own cavalry units, they're not very good. But what about 11 inexperienced tough fighters charging you from 18 inches away? That starts to seem interesting for me. Because Italy can get colonial troops, and they can, for 2 points per man, they can be equipped with horses, making them tough fighter. So paint up a bunch of Africans on horses or camels even, and have them charge at the enemy from 18 inches, tough fighter, 11 man. Yes, many of them will die, but I think they'll win that close combat. It's more expensive than the Japanese version of this, throwing bamboo spears at the enemy, but it's worth a look, I think. If we go to the rest of the list, the Italian artillery roster is pretty okay. They have those guns where you can both use them as an anti-tank gun and as a howitzer. That is awesome. Saves you some points for with versatility, right? But also, I would also point your attention towards the armored car selection. Italy has a lot of different armored cars. Not very many of them are very competitive or very good. They don't really have a tank version of an armored car or anything like that. No flamer options as such. But they do have this Sahariana truck car thingy with loads and loads of customizability, and you can have so many different machine gun options on it, and it has recce. I mean, that's a really good armored car. Yes, it can become very expensive when you equip it, but that's a really good armored car, and you can even have it with I think a light autocannon or something. That will work. That will either shred infantry or light vehicles of the enemy. Go through that like butter. Very good. Also, if we look at the tanks, because that's pretty much what's good in the Italian list, they have access to the M15. The M15 is a better Stuart. It's the Dakar tank. It has 4 machine guns, 4 MMGs, that's 20 shots, and a light anti-tank gun. So that will kill any infantry unit that you pointed at. It's really good. Yeah, so that's the good bits. If I look at what's bad, I've already talked about the national special rules. They're situational at best. So we're also still kind of waiting for the Italians to get a good plastic kit for their regular infantry. So model-wise, you're going to have to go out and buy blister packs, unfortunately. But the models do look very nice. They have a pretty weak, thin selection of transports. They only have 3 different types of transport, which for a major nation is catastrophic. It's really bad. Their anti-tank options are also very limited unless you buy the late war paratroopers with the Panzerfausts. Then they have a rifle, the anti-tank rifle. That's a bit of an upgrade because I think it has a +2 pen, but that's still not very good compared to bazookas or like Panzerschrecks or Faust, right? So their anti-tank options are quite limited. And when you look at their mortar options, they don't actually have a heavy mortar. I know most people will use the medium mortar instead, and they do have one of those, but they don't actually have the option of taking a heavy mortar. So there's quite a lot of their options that are limited, which is not good for you to build different types of lists, right? So, as a rookie, would I recommend you start on this? No. But I already know a rookie who's done so. I think Italy is it's a work of love. The people I know play Italy play it as a work of love. They fall in love with something about it, and they try to make it work and hope for better rules in the future, which might come, actually. And you can, if you are not going too historical or thematic, you can make lists that work with Italy and that can win games. Yeah, that was Italy. Cheers.